Next, yes.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay. Let me just begin by introducing myself.
Okay.
I hope you can see me somewhere as well. And I want to say a very, very big welcome to everybody who's joining me today in Kazakhstan. I'm so pleased that you're able to be here and to participate in the first of our webinars on research dissemination. My name is Professor Barbara Skinner, and I'm from Ulster University in Northern Ireland. It's one of the four nations of the United Kingdom, Northern Ireland. It's in the top left-hand corner of the United Kingdom. I've had the privilege of working with Dr. Yelena Kandalina from Kostanay Regional University, right up in the north of Kazakhstan. We've worked together for a couple of years on British Council projects, and this series of research webinars are part of one of our British Council projects. So we're really delighted that you can be here. I know Kazakhstan a little bit. I've been to Almaty, I've been to Kostanay. It's a really amazing experience to visit your country. So I'm delighted to be here today to present to you. And I know that this is also part of your continuing professional development work and will contribute to your 72 hours. Is that right, Yelena? Yeah, that's right. Good. Yeah. So it'd be great if you can attend the second in our series of research webinars, which is in 2 weeks' time, and the third, which I think is in 4 weeks' time. So we have 5 altogether. This is the first. Part of one of our British Council projects. So we're really delighted that you can be here. I know Kazakhstan a little bit. I've been to Almaty, I've been to Kostanay. It's a really amazing experience to visit your country. So I'm delighted to be here today to present to you. And I know that this is also part of your continuing professional development work and will contribute to your 72 hours. Is that right, Yelena? Yeah, that's right. Good. Yeah. So it'd be great if you can attend the second in our series of research webinars, which is in 2 weeks' time, and the third, which I think is in 4 weeks' time. So we have 5 altogether. This is the first.
And just my age.
Work. So just to start off with, the first session today is on how to disseminate your educational research using a blog. Now, I'm going to talk about a blog which is part of an organisation called the British Educational Research Association. I belong to this association. It's called BERA, and we have a fantastic website as part of BERA, a website which hosts a range of different blogs. And we encourage educational researchers, teachers, practitioners, lecturers, teacher educators, PhD students, master's students to contribute a blog to our BERA blog. And we really want you to do that. So I'm hoping that by the end of this session, you will have some enthusiasm to write a blog for BERA, the British Educational Research Association. And just to emphasise, BERA is a leading authority on educational research in the United Kingdom, and it supports and represents a community of scholars, practitioners, everyone who's involved in educational research. And it's basically committed to advancing educational research. The blog is part of this bigger organisation, and I'm a very keen member of BERA. I'm also an editor for the BERA blog. So this is for all of you who have some research out there and you're thinking, I want to get this published. I want to get this out there in the wider world. So in this session, you're going to learn about BERA and its blog. Consider the purpose of a blog. Why would you publish a BERA blog? And explore key components of writing for a blog. What is good writing? And explore also how to write an effective educational research blog. So let's start off with by looking at what is a blog. You all know this, but I just wanted to clarify. It's a type of website or web page where individuals or organizations publish content, typically written articles on a very specific theme or topic. We normally call these blog posts. Now, I would love you all to contribute a blog to the British Educational Research Association, BERA. We want people from all over the world to contribute. And our blog posts are only 750 words long, so short and sweet. It's a good way of starting to publish and to get your research out there to disseminate your findings. So the purpose of a blog about educational research? Well, lots of different things really, to disseminate your findings. So a blog is about making complex research more accessible by summarising your findings in plain language. And it's also a blog helps you share insights with a wider audience beyond academic journals, such as teachers or policymakers or parents or students. Your blog will help encourage discussion and collaboration between researchers, educators and the public. It may lead to new ideas, partnerships. You can use a blog to promote a current project that you're working on, maybe your ongoing PhD studies, some aspect of your data collection. Maybe you've got some preliminary findings and you can publish them in a blog. A blog also helps build your own profile, so you can publish blogs quite quickly, whereas journal articles take quite a long time. It also helps us to advocate for evidence-based education. We promote the value of using evidence and data in shaping educational policies or classroom practices. And it helps translate our own research into practice. So lots of very good reasons for considering disseminating your research using a blog. Whether you're a master's student, a PhD student, an early career researcher, teacher educator, researcher in a Kazakh university, an experienced researcher or educator in a Kazakh university or in a school or in a further education college. The BERA blog has an ethos of accepting all contributions. We will work with you to try and make sure your blog is published. So here's an example of a title and the start of a blog on the BERA website. So you can see that quite quickly the text that you submit can look very, very professional in terms of getting your research out there. So again, I'm going to say it's 750 words, including references. So it's short. It's not like writing a journal article. Since we launched the BERA blog in 2015, we've had over 900,000 page views, and our blog reaches audiences outside of the United Kingdom across 200 countries. And what's great about it is that you can make your research have impact quickly, and you can reach an audience reasonably quickly. Yeah, I can hear a little bit of noise in the background. So maybe if anybody's got their microphone switched on, just switch it off right now, and that will help reduce feedback.
Gulnara, please.
So BERA will take your text, your blog, they'll make it look really professional, and they will publicize your research for you using social media like LinkedIn to disseminate your work. And they're really keen to get more international researchers to publish with the BERA blog. So I'm hoping that this presentation will really encourage you to submit a blog to us. You can see here the title of this blog is Supporting Autistic Young People in Their Transition from School. That's the transition from school into the world, and the role of careers guidance in that transition. And Sam Dexter, who's a PhD student in London, got his blog published just a month ago in September 2025. Let's just have a look at another example here. This is a student, a researcher at Aga Khan University, Aisha Naz Ansari. Her blog was published in August 2025, and her topic is, what do Pakistani parents look for in schools? So there's just two very different examples, but the BERA blog will publish a wide range of topics on educational research. So whatever your topic, I encourage you to submit a blog if you can.
I'm sorry, Barbara, just a point. Gulnara Spitzner, please switch off the microphone.
Okay, thank you. I'll just continue here. So, reasons, why would you write a blog for the British Educational Research Association? Let's have a think. Well, you're going to reach readers in over 200 countries. You can promote your work and ideas to other academics, practitioners, policymakers. It's open to anyone, whatever stage of your academic career you're at. We have a very supportive ethos. We want your blog to be published, and we will give you feedback to help you do that. You get published quickly, whereas a journal article takes a long time. And it's only 750 words, including references. And you play a role in contributing to debates on education. And you can write about any topic of educational research or anything related to being an educational researcher. So the hallmarks of writing a blog. 3 hallmarks of good writing, especially for a blog. Hallmarks are key components. It's another word for key components, really. First of all, if you're going to do this, think about the clarity of your writing. Make your writing easy to follow and to understand. You've got to think about ensuring the reader immediately grasps your ideas, getting rid of any ambiguity, making complex issues simple and logical. You've also got to think about economy. Use the fewest number of words necessary to express an idea without losing its meaning. So we don't want overly complex academic language. We want your language to be simple. So you're going to use economy of language and be concise. And this keeps readers engaged by avoiding unnecessary words or repetition, and it helps your ideas stand out more clearly, makes the writing more powerful. I'll just give you an example. You know, some people might write, this is a general idea, not an academic idea, but due to the fact that the weather was cold, we had decided to stay indoors. Quite a lot of words. More economical, because it was cold, we stayed indoors. Economic, simple, concise. That's what we want in a blog. And the third hallmark is precision. Choose exact words that convey your meaning accurately, because this prevents confusion or misinterpretation, and it strengthens your argument. So again, language which is vague. This is not academic, it's a general sentence. She looked nice. Precise. She looked elegant in her navy blue dress. To being quite precise. So I would advise you, before submitting a blog, to go onto the BERA website. I've put the address of that website on the first slide, and read at least 4 other blogs to really get the idea of the sort of language you need to use, and to think about, when you're reading them, to think about clarity, economy and precision in terms of those hallmarks of good writing, especially for a blog. More tips if you're writing a effective blog. The tone and voice, keep it simple. Write in a way the general public understands. So don't use jargon, use easy to understand sentences. And I know as academics, we may be used to writing for journal articles, but when you're writing for a blog, you have to rethink the way you write. So we're cutting out all the kind of academic jargon, getting rid of it and keeping it simple. We don't want you to be writing your whole dissertation in 750 words. So you're going to choose one aspect of your dissertation, maybe your unique methodology, maybe one set of findings, maybe your theoretical framework. And you're writing for an international audience. So stay clear of abbreviations, acronyms. And if you're talking about the Kazakhstani education system, you may need to explain terms and define acronyms, etc. We need to make our blog relevant to an audience. What is interesting to your audience? What will engage them? What value does it bring? What aspect of my research can I write about in 750 words that will really engage an audience? Am I answering some sort of question? Am I telling them a way to solve a problem in education. Think about those things, and also think about the fact that this is being read online, like a lot of our reading in this day and age. So you need to be able, the reader needs to be able to scan the text online. So how does it flow? Is it written in sections, paragraphs, chunks, which allows the reader to follow your message? So you might want to use sections. You might need to break it into chunks. People who read online want to read quickly, so they need to get the message quickly. You need to convey that message in a focused way. And a few more tips on writing an effective blog. This is important. I would suggest that you think about the structure very carefully, and it's 750 words, short and sweet. So you've got an introduction, a middle, and a conclusion. Nice and simple. In the introduction, make sure you tell the reader what your topic is. So include a sentence which says, "This blog focuses on," and tell the reader exactly what the topic is of the blog. Each of the sections in the middle of your blog, the paragraphs, develop the main focus of your blog. But you can add more detail, and you can give examples, evidence to illustrate each point. Okay, and the conclusion needs to be succinct summary. You might want to think, let's summarize here, but then let me tell the readers what comes next, what's afterwards, why is this important? This question, so what? Why is my research important? So what? If your research includes a framework or an image, or if it would be enhanced by using photographs, then consider doing that, building into the text a framework that you want to write about, or some images which illustrate what you're talking about. You may also want to use hyperlinks, links within the text to other websites, which give further information about your research. Yeah. So you've got the introduction where you're going to nail it in the first paragraph. Nail it means tell the audience what this is about. The middle will develop that topic and that focus, and the conclusion will summarize, but also leave the reader with thinking, so what's the point of the research? What comes next? Okay. As I said, a conclusion isn't really the same as a summary. The conclusion is a summary of the blog content, but then so what? What comes next? Titles are really important as well. We'll look at titles for a little while. Before then, I'll show you some examples of some blogs. Okay, I want you to all spend maybe 5 minutes maximum, and I want you to read each of these blog titles and consider, are they effective and why? So these are 4 very different titles for educational research blogs. All have been published on the BERA blog website. I just want you to read these, think how effective are they and why. You've got 5 minutes. Okay, I don't know if this is a good way for me to get feedback because there's quite a number of you online, but maybe you could put in the chat box any comments you've got about which one you like and why. That will help me know if you think it's effective or not. Maybe you could just write in the chat box, a few of you, and I could pick up some responses there about which one you like. Okay, so people are picking up the don't be afraid of maths. If I can do it, you can too. Dropping off a cliff, what's really behind the fall in trainee teacher recruitment. Any other comments about what you might like or what you don't like for a particular reason? Okay, so Oyshajon Iskandarova, pronouncing your name here. The second and fourth one you like. Don't be afraid of maths. If I can do it, you can too. And experimental methods in research, you like the second and fourth one because they're nice and simple. Somebody says title 1 is lengthy, dropping off a cliff. What's really behind the fall in trainee teacher recruitment? But the metaphor is good, yeah. Anna Smygina thinks the first one is too long, but it's catchy. Somebody says they fancy the second topic. Maths is what people are afraid of. The second or third says Akmaral. Early career researchers to be accepted or rejected. Oh, thank you so much for responding to my question and to thinking about the titles. But the title of your blog is the top line. And this is what people will see before they click on it and read the rest. So you know the title is super important. You need to get the title in good shape and it needs to reflect the content of your blog. So it's the top line. It's like the headline in a newspaper, so to speak. So it needs to be punchy. You need to punch people. It needs to be eye-catching and it has to have key words that convey the topic. Ideally, not that long, not too long. And it needs to clearly give the focus of the blog. So let's have a look at these 4 different titles. Yeah, there's lots of different responses here and thanks so much for doing them. This one, the first one, dropping off a cliff. What's really behind the fall in trainee teacher recruitment? Interestingly, this is one of the most read blogs on our BERA website. I think it's because there's a big issue at the moment in the United Kingdom with attrition of trainee teachers. They go out into schools, they come into colleges maybe, and then they don't stay because it's too difficult, or it's very difficult for us to attract them to become teachers. So it's around those areas of recruitment. They're not seeing teaching as a good profession to go into. But I like this title because it's eye-catching. I like this this title because it has a metaphor of this like trainee teacher. It's like dropped off a cliff, because it's difficult learning to teach. It's an intense year where we put them through their postgraduate teaching education qualification. The second one, don't be afraid of maths. If I can do it, you can too. I think this is really nice because the title's quite personal. It's addressing a person. If I can do it, you can too. And that draws readers in. It gets people's attraction, I think. The third one, early career researchers, to be accepted or rejected. This is a two-part title. Note you've got a colon in the middle. Early career researchers, to be accepted or rejected. I really like two-part titles. I like the fact that you've got a main idea and then maybe it's a little bit more specific. So you're saying, this blog is about early career researchers, but I'm going to look at their identity, their agency around whether being accepted or rejected and what that means for them. Now, somebody said the fourth one, they liked that title because it was nice and simple. Experimental methods in research. It is nice and simple, but it's also, I think, a bit vague because it's so huge. It's very hard to write in 750 words about experimental methods in research. So I would expect experimental methods in research, narrative inquiry, for example, or experimental methods in research, using drawings with children. So I'd expect it to be, the second part of that title to be a bit more precise, because it is too big for my personal experience here. Now, I'm just going to try and do something. As I said, I'm not used to using Zoom. I normally use Teams for all my online meetings, but I want to stop sharing my slides with you. And instead, I want to share with you an example of a blog that I've given feedback on because I'm a blog editor, and then the published version. So bear with me around the technology. And Yelena, I might need a little bit of help here. So I'm going to stop sharing and move to a different screen. Hope it works.
Yes, hopefully.
Okay, stop sharing. And
just switch your screen on a different screen and then share it.
I'm talking to myself, everybody. It's the first sign of madness. If you start talking to yourself, apparently. Okay. No.
So,
End that completely.
we see the page.
Can you
The
see
text.
a text here?
Yes, we see the text.
You can or you can't?
We can.
Yes,
But it's
we see.
difficult to read.
It
Can
would be
you
better
see
if you enlarge it.
text which starts child's play?
Yes, but it's very in very small letters. Maybe you can
Let me
enlarge
know.
it. Mhm. If we need to read it.
Yelena, can you see a screen with a text?
Yes, we can see the screen, but it would be better if you could do it larger.
Okay, I'm not getting any responses from anyone out there. If you could just let me know, can you see a screen now with a text on it? And on the top of the text, it says child's play.
Yes, I can.
Yes, we can. Great. Thank you. Yeah, Yelena says great. So you can see here, this is a blog that somebody has sent into the BERA Association and to the team of blog editors. I'm one of the blog editors. And actually, these are my author's comments on the right-hand side. So this researcher, this teacher, this lecturer is writing a blog about child's play. And her title I quite like. And I've made a comment, nice title. I like the use of the question. It gets the reader thinking. Child's play, using creative methods with adults in education research. So her title is very specific. It's quite nice to ask a question because it engages the reader. My second comment here on the right-hand side of the screen, I've said, after reading this blog twice, I see the focus is definitely on how creative methods of data collection, like drawing, can be used successfully with children, with adults as well as children. Can you provide examples of what they did when, for example, a drawing or photo, to help the reader see how this works? And I've said at the moment your description is rather abstract. Make it more concrete by giving one or two clear illustrative examples. Another comment I've made, make clear in the introduction that in this blog the focus is on using creative methods for adults rather than for children. Another comment, insert a sentence here in the introduction which states this blog focuses on. Be specific. What's this blog about? Here I've asked her to define terminology. Can you explain photo elicitation? What exactly is trauma-informed change? And again, can you give examples of a simple drawing activity, etc.? So all the way through this, I have made some comments on her blog to help her improve it. You can see that she's included references, and if we highlight the whole of her blog, and let's just check here, word count. Word count is 745 words, which is pretty spot on because it's 750 maximum, including references. So you have to be careful about the word count as well. I'm not going to go through all of this, but that's what was sent to us by an educational person out there doing some research, wanting to get her or his research published. I'm going to stop sharing that screen, and I'm now going to show you what it looks like on the BERA blog when it's finished and it's published and it's out there. So again, bear with me whilst I navigate these different screens in Zoom. all these different things have different kind of ways of doing it. So stopping sharing. I'm going to talk out loud again, as I said. First sign of madness. Okay, I'll share my screen again. Okay, so this time you're going to see the finished blog. What does it look like when it's published? Thumbs up if you can see it, please, for me.
We can see it.
Yep. Thanks, Albina or Yelena, one or the other. That's great. So you can see here how professional this looks. Now it's on the BERA website. You can see that there's a photograph of the author, that she's kept the same title. And importantly, she's taken into account some of my feedback to help her improve her blog. Look, she has actually put a sentence in. This blog focuses on the use of creative methods with adult education staff in a research project conducted as part of my PhD thesis. Amazing. She's telling the reader exactly what the blog is about. Let's scroll down a little bit. Yeah, amazing too. As I suggested to her, please include some illustrations of what you mean by creative methods with adults. And she does. She is explaining how she used drawings in interview data collection and how she used photo elicitation with interviews for her data collection and something called sandboxing in interviews with her data collection. So this blog is much improved because of the feedback. The author's taken on board the feedback, improved it, and resubmitted it. Now, the ethos of the BERA blog is really to work with all authors out there who submit to us. We will help you through our feedback get your work published. We really want that to happen. So if you're not confident with your academic writing, you're not confident with getting your research disseminated, this is a really good place to start, the BERA blog. And how professional does this look? It looks really nice, I think. Okay, so back to my PowerPoint slides now. Bear with me whilst I navigate these screens. Okay, so we looked at the titles and the importance of coming up with a good title. So here's some things that I really want you to think about. These are all green. So green traffic light, this is what you need to think about doing when you write a blog. Create a punchy, eye-catching title. Cut to the chase in the introduction. That means nail it. There's idioms here. Cut to the chase, nail it. Be focused. Tell the reader what this is about in the first paragraph. Provide context for an international audience. You are writing your blog for people from other countries. as well as maybe people in Kazakhstan. Number 4, focus on an issue and illustrate it in each paragraph with examples and with evidence from your research. And if possible, connect your topic with wider policies and initiatives of the moment. So if there's anything happening in Kazakhstan in the education reform environment, or the government review of education, or target setting for education in Kazakhstan, maybe link it to your topic, because you're basically saying, this is current, this is important, this is interesting right now. Consider subheadings and use keywords to help visibility by search engines, and write as if it was for a general member of the public, not for a highbrow academic audience. Use inclusive language, and if you are inserting hyperlinks, make sure they work. Use references, but watch your word count because they're included in the references, and include images if they help. And make sure that you end very firmly with kind of linking to your topic, linking with how your topic fits in to the field of education research. And if you want to make your BERA blog post really great, really good one, don't do these things. Don't use lots of abbreviations and acronyms that people don't understand. Do not assume that readers will understand the Kazakh education system and any national agenda. You'll have to explain that. Do not use long sentences. Do not focus on presenting a whole study, a whole article, a book. That doesn't work. Focus on a spotlight, a highlight, an issue, and illustrate it with evidence. Don't make big claims without providing evidence for your claims. And don't criticize or belittle individuals or groups. Occasionally we have blog posts sent to us that do that. It's only 750 words, so you don't need lots and lots of references. 3 or 4, 5 or 6. That's enough. Absolutely. So if you are writing a blog about your research, and I'd really encourage you to do it, make sure that you kind of read your blog out loud before you submit it to BERA. And you're going to take time to look at the BERA blog submission policy. I'll show you in a minute. You might want to co-author with somebody else in your institution or school. So if there's 2 of you or 3 of you that are working on a topic, you can write a blog together, or make sure, point number 4, make sure that you look at other blog posts, because you'll really begin to understand what is required of you. And you will need to send in a photograph and a very short biography of yourself, who I am, what I'm interested in. And you may want to let BERA know about your own social network, so that you can link the BERA blog post to your own LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram profiles, whatever you are commonly using in Kazakhstan. So use your own networks to promote your blog. So we really look forward to receiving your blog post and working with you to support it, to get it published. You can send your blog post contributions to this email address. And 2 things to think about, which are separate from this really, but we do have BERA blog special issues. So this is a collection of blog posts on the same topic. So some of you might be working on big research projects, and you may have 5 or 6 separate blog posts, and you can submit a proposal for a BERA blog special issue, or you may want to submit a proposal for a BERA Bites, and that is a series of blogs which are used as a teaching resource. I'm just mentioning those two. It may be worth your while just beginning by submitting one blog post, or maybe 2 or 3 if you've got a particular research project going. But as I mentioned, the BERA blog special issue and BERA Bites, I just want to show you those as well, that they are possible and they're great ways of getting your research out there and making sure your research has impact. Before I finish, and I can take a few questions, or Yelena can help me take questions in the chat box, I just want to show you the BERA blog website. With the BERA general website, you can see it says what BERA is about, British Educational Research Association, and there's a tab here called the blog tab. So you can find out here and have a look at all the different blogs that are published. So these are a couple that have been published this month, the 8th of October. Working Class People in UK Higher Education, Born to Teach, The Narrative of Vocation, etc., etc. You can see lots and lots of blog posts here, and I'm whizzing through them, and you can see how many we've got here. So you can go in and maybe choose 2 or 3 that interest you and have a look. Pursuit of ethical research in a war zone. Listening to young children, are they happy in nursery? What are Black British schoolgirls telling us? So there's a whole range of educational research here. And again, if you want to submit a blog, you go to this tab and look up our submission policy, where it gives you advice, and it tells you how to contribute, and the email address to use when you contribute is here. It's all on the slides that I've shown you today, and I'll make sure that Yelena has them. One last thing I didn't do, but I will just show you quickly here. See this, okay. I'll go to the very last slide, which I didn't show you. Jump ahead. This one. So Yelena was saying that, I hope you can see this, that you needed tasks to do as part of your continuing. What I really hope from this presentation is that we'll get some real blog submissions from educationalists in Kazakhstan appearing on our BERA blog website in the next few months. It's a great way to get your research published quickly without too much trauma involved, which is involved in writing a journal or article. And yeah, I'd really encourage you all to do it. We have an ethos of accepting all blogs and working with you to get it published. So please go for it. And thanks very much for listening. And any questions you have, please let me know.
And I just want to say, Barbara, that we have a lot of participants from Uzbekistan here.
You're on mute, I think, Yelena?
I'm not sure. Well, so I will
let me know.
And I just want to say, and